for taking your time to attend this informative webinar on the OBA Streamlined Pathway Pre-Qualified GNM Nurses towards Australian Nursing Registration and Migration Process. The purpose of today's session is to provide a clear understanding of the AFRA registration process, the available pathway for internationally qualified nurses, and how 360 will support you throughout from documentation and registration to migration and permanent residency. Today's session will be handled by our core team members. Mr. Charles will be guiding us through our company profile. Ms. Reshma will be handling Australian migration and AFRA registration process. I will be explaining you about the streamlined pathway and pathway for GNM nurses. Ms. Gopika will be guiding us through the Australian PR visa application process and opportunities. And Mr. Mohanan will be explaining us regarding our service flow and support structure. Without any further delay, let's begin the session by welcoming Mr. Charles, who will be starting with our overview about our company and explain why Australia remains one of the top destination for nursing professionals in worldwide. So, Mr. Charles, I would like to welcome you to start the webinar.
Thank you, Martina. Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. My name is Charles. I'm one of the managers for 360 Medicare. I will give an initial introduction into the company, and then we'll talk about jobs in Australia and why you should work in Australia. So, 360 Medicare, we are a company that's grown very, very quickly. Initially established in 2019, about 6.5 years old. We've got 3 different branches, one in the UK, one in Dubai in United Arab Emirates, and also an Indian branch. So we are one of the largest suppliers of healthcare professionals in Australia. Can somebody mute that microphone, please? Thank you. We are one of the largest suppliers of doctors and nurses to the Australian region. We specialize primarily in recruiting both nurses, doctors, healthcare workers, and also allied health professionals for both temporary, permanent, and locum roles across the UK and also across Australia. We offer, in addition to our recruitment services, a very comprehensive immigration service that we have a large group of qualified and experienced professionals who will guide you through the whole process in terms of the licensing, visas, and we've also got a deployment team that will support you on the relocation aspects of your journey to Australia as well. We've got quite a skilled compliance team as well who will help you with all the documentation and also ensure that you are placed in a role of your choice and that they will support you every step of the way. It's pretty much a hand-holding process that we operate at 360 Medicare. Our team have a wide variety of backgrounds behind them. Me personally, I'm from a recruitment background. Then we've got Martina, who's from a sort of law background, and Mohanan from a licensing perspective as well. Gopika and Reshma, both immigration and licensing specialists. And this is who we are as a company. Next slide, please. So you probably ask yourself the question, why do you want to work in Australia? So post-COVID, there's been a huge reduction in the number of nursing vacancies across Europe, primarily in the UK. We have been one of the largest suppliers of nurses into the UK National Health Service, and the demand has dropped, I would say, to 10% of what it was 5 years ago. So as a result, nurses have sort of diversified their interest, and they're looking at other opportunities, for example, Australia and the GCC region. So let's talk about Australia and why you should work in Australia as a nurse. There's a huge demand for skilled healthcare professionals such as yourselves, whether you're a general nurse or a specialist nurse. You will be offered a structured career pathway. The salaries are excellent in compared to the UK. The weather is nicer, obviously, and you will have a lot better quality of life in Australia than you would have in the UK. for sure. Myself, I work both in the UK and Australia, and there's no comparison. So when we talk about the pay and benefits as well, so most of the nurses that we place in Australia have an attractive salary package and benefits that go along with it that will sort of entice you to work in Australia more. And also, if you complete your AFRA registration as well, it's a globally recognized qualification. So I think as a healthcare professional, Australia would be your number one choice as a nurse, considering the number of vacancies that are available in Australia. There's been a huge investment from the government of Australia as well to try and attract talent, especially nurses. So obviously, once you've completed your registration process, you will have a much better chance of securing employment within Australia. Thank you. Over to you, Martin.
Thank you, Charles, for your informative sessions related to the weather and the workforce in Australia. So now I would like to welcome Ms. Reshma to continue the session related to the AFRA registration.
So thank you, Martina. Dear nurses, myself Reshma. I'm the manager of Australian Immigration and Nursing Registration process from Indian office. So today I'll be covering the registration process, how a registered nurse can register in APRA to work in Australia. So APRA is a regulatory agency which is situated in Australia, and they do have branches in Melbourne, Sydney, Perth, Adelaide, and these authority or this is the authority who analyze or who verify the documents of the candidate for gaining the registration. And there are certain process for registered nurses for getting the Australian registration. So initially, I will be dealing with the candidate who have registered and working in India and in GCC countries. That is a normal domestic process. Uh, Next slide. So this process is mainly for the domestic candidates who are working in India or in GCC countries. So moving to the process, initially I will be explaining you the criteria for applying for the Australian registration. So the criteria is the candidate must be a BSc nurse, BSc, post BSc, or MSc nurse with or without experience. You can apply for Australian registration. And for regarding the English language, it is not necessary that you should have an English language score in the initial stages. And for APRA registration, there is no age limit for getting the registration. So the initial stage is the self-check. Self-check means we will be creating a profile under the candidate name in the APRA website, and we will be giving all the qualification related details in the initial stage. And APRA will be verifying your details, and they will be move on to the next stage, which is the orientation part. Orientation part is there will be an online training session where they will be in explaining all the duties and responsibilities of a nurse to work in Australia. So before orientation, you will have to do a payment of 410 Australian dollars as an application fee. And then the candidate has to attend the orientation part, which lasts up for a 1 hour training session. And once the orientation is completed, then the fourth stage will be the portfolio stage. So in the portfolio, what we do is that we will be submitting all the required documents which is requested by the APRA, and our documentation team will be supporting the nurses for arranging the documents, and the same will be uploaded in the portal. Once the documents are uploaded, it will take up to 2 to 3 weeks for getting the portfolio outcome, and the outcome will be the candidate is eligible for doing the NCLEX-RN exam. So the NCLEX-RN exam, initially it was for USA and Canada, and for the past 3 years, APRA also introduced the NCLEX-RN for the Australian nurses. The NCLEX-RN exam is a computer-based test exam itself. and it is having the exam result has no validity. So what you do is that we will be registering your name, your details in the NCLEX portal, and we will be booking the date for your exam. And once you complete the exam, you will be getting the result within 7 weeks. And if you are success in the exam, then you can apply for the OSCE. We will be booking the OSCE dates, as well as we will be applying the visa for the OSCE exam. You will be traveling in the visit visa. The visa will be having a validity of 1 year. So each stage will be having a particular time frame for doing the process, and within that time frame you will have to complete the steps. If you couldn't able to, if the candidate is not able to complete the steps or the stages within the time frame, then the portal will be closed, so you will have to do the process again. And for the NCLEX exam, we don't have centers in any of the GCC countries. We do have centers only in India and in UK or the English speaking countries. Other than that, we don't have any NCLEX centers for writing the exam. And for OSCE, there is two centers in Australia. One is in Melbourne and the other one is in Adelaide. The OSCE fees will be 4,000 Australian dollars. And we do have trainings for NCLEX as well as the OSCE. We will be providing the training for the candidates for the NCLEX and also for OSCE exams. So these are the steps for the domestic candidate who wish to migrate to Australia. Uh, and it will take the total time frame will be taken up to 6 to 8 months. That is a standard time frame, but it can be vary. It depends upon the candidate profile. It depends upon the time taking for writing the exams. The processing time frame will be varies, but the standard time frame is 6 to 8 months for completing the entire process for getting the registration in Australia. So this is the process for the domestic nurses for applying APRA registration. Thank you.
Thank you, Reshma, for your informative session for the AFRA registration, and it was very helpful. It will be very helpful for the nurses as well. Now, let's move on to the next slide. I will be explaining you about the streamlined pathway for the internationally qualified nurses. Okay. So this pathway is this process is basically for internationally qualified and experienced nurses who are working in UK, Ireland, Australia, Singapore, Spain, and Canada. The basic eligibility criteria for the nurses to qualify for this pathway, that they should hold a BSc nursing or a post basic BSc nursing since Jan 1st, 2017, and they should be registered and practicing in the UK NMPA compatible jurisdiction, and they should be under the designation of an adult nurse, and minimum requirement of working hours should be 1,800 hours, and they should be working like from since 2017, and the validity of the UK nursing license should be there, and they should also meet the English language standard like IELTS, OET, or PTE, and even expired scores are accepted within 1 year of the candidate need to be started working in the English speaking country. Clubbing is accepted within 1 year, and the registration shall be completed within 1 to 6 months probably, and it differs if at all any kind of documentation verification delays happen. Otherwise, you can get your registration within the period time of 6 months. So this is the most current, most suitable and smooth pathway for internationally qualified nurses without any exams, and within 6 months they can avail the registration. The main benefit of this pathway is that there is no exam, there is there is no travel cost, that you don't have to travel to write the OSCE exam. You don't have to worry about your NCLEX or anything. Only thing is that there are required documents are there as per the format and everything, which our case officer, our expert team will be guiding you throughout the process. And the attractive part is that it is very less expensive and a faster processing also. This is the directly recognition of UK. If you have a UK qualification, uh, can you please unmute? Mute? Yeah, thank you. This is the direct recognition and from the AFRA authority, and even UK qualification. If you are a registered nurse, if you have completed your BSc from UK, that is also accepted in the pathway of stream A. So there are chances for UK nurses who are currently working and even passed out from UK, Ireland, Australia, any of the accepted countries by NMPA. So this is the most easiest and smooth pathway at present currently having for the internationally qualified nurses. So if you are planning to take up the next step to have a secured future, this is the right time to apply for an register license because kindly note that winter break is approaching. So if you are planning to begin the process, it is advisable to initiate it within this month or in the coming month, because most of the authorities like AFRA and MAC will be closed during the winter holidays and will be only reopening by the mid of January. So if you are internationally qualified and experienced nurses who are currently working in UK, this is the right time for you to apply for the streamlined pathway. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so those GNM nurses who cannot apply through the AFRA registration directly, there is another suitable pathway for them, that is the New Zealand pathway, wherein they need to attain the IQN exam and even OSCE in New Zealand. If they acquire both the process, they will be eligible to get both the license from New Zealand as well as from Australia as well. So in this pathway, they are actually benefiting of getting two license, and they can actually, with the help of the TTMRA pathway process, they can transfer their New Zealand license into Australia also. So the only pre-requirement for this pathway is that if you are a GNM nurse and currently having 1,800 working hours in UK, you will be eligible for the New Zealand pathway, and through TTMRA pathway, you can transfer it to Australian registration as well. Even this can be applied for those BSc nurses who passed out before 2070. They can also apply through this pathway and they can avail the registration. Now, I would like to welcome Ms. Gopika. She will be guiding you through the PR pathway process and everything. So over to you, Gopika. Thank you.
Thank you, Martina. Yes, my name is Kopika and I'm working here in 360 Medicare Dubai office as a case specialist. And first of all, a warm welcome all of you to those who have joined this webinar. And I will be dealing with the Australian PR process. And in today's session, I will be dealing with everything you need to know about the Australian PR. So, in the first slide, what is an Australian PR? Australian PR is commonly known as a permanent residency there in Australia. There you can live, work, and study permanently. And you can also sponsor your eligible family members to Australia. Okay, so with a PR holder, you will get a benefit as a citizen, not a citizen, but we can convert it into an Australian citizenship. Okay, so PR means a permanent life and career settled in Australia. So as a health professionals, you are higher chance for getting PR there in Australia because Australia is facing the nurses. There are number of shortages in nurses because nurses are getting invited in Australia and there are higher chances for getting PR in Australia as a registered nurse. So next slide, please. Oh, basically, for the PR, we have three visa options: 189, 190, and 491. 189 is a skilled independent visa, which you don't need any sponsor. But for 190 and 491, it's a state sponsored visa. So, the benefit of this PR is you can live and work anywhere in Australia permanently. Okay. So, no sponsors or no employers is no longer required for this PR. And this is also a point based system. Moving on to the next slide. Subclass 190. This is a state sponsored visa. That means there are many states in Australia. Any one of the state will invite you to stay there as a PR holder. You can work, live, and in the nominated state. Basically, Victoria, Queensland, NSW are inviting more offshore applicants to live there, okay, and work there. So this is also same eligibility as 189. It's also a point-based system. Moving on to the next slide. 491. It's a skilled work regional sponsored visa. This is also a state sponsored visa. This is a temporary visa that grants up to leave to up to 5 years, and this is also same eligibility criteria as 189 and 190. So same criteria. You need English. You need a skill assessment. All those criteria are applicable to this also. These are the main three visa options available for PR. Moving on to the next slide. What is a skill assessment? Basically, any professions who want to get a PR there in Australia, first they need to clear a skill assessment. Basically, for registered nurse, it's ANMAC. Okay, through that we need to do the skill assessment. Their skill assessment authority will assess your qualification, your eligibility, work experience, all those things. And once we get a positive skill assessment, then we are eligible to lodge the expression of interest. That's the first application of PR, EOI. So any skilled profession who want to migrate to Australia, first they need to clear a skill assessment. Without skill assessment, we cannot move to Australia, or even we cannot get the PR. Okay. So in skill assessment, we need to find your nominated occupation. Sometimes registered nurse with medicine, surgical, aged care, we need to select the occupation according to your area of practice. And we need to submit all the relevant documents to the assessment body. Then they will assess the application, and then they will provide a positive skill assessment according to our area of practice. This is a skill assessment. Moving on to the next slide. Oh, why GSM visa is best choice? Because if we are moved to Australia with a PR, we don't need to find an employer there in Australia. If we are moving in a temporary visa or an employer sponsored visa, then we need to wait for their approval to get a PR. But if we are moving there with our own visa, with a PR, then the chances of getting jobs and settling there are higher. Okay, as for a secure future, this GSM visa is recommended. And you can even select your job location, and you can move independently without the employer like that. GSM visa is more preferably, I prefer to do if we are planning to do the PR. Moving on to the next slide. Okay. These are the assessment authorities for nursing and midwifery and MAC, Australian Nursing and Midwifery Accreditation Council. Through that, we will do the skill assessment. For engineers, we do skill assessment through Engineers Australia. For IT occupation, we do the skill assessment through ACS, Australian Computer Society. And for general skill, other occupations, we will do through VETASIS. So these are the common assessment authorities there in Australia, and we need to choose the occupations and we need to submit the application according to the authorities. Moving on to the next slide. Yes. So as a tip, I will tell you that First of all, we need to clear our skill assessment for securing a PR there in Australia. Okay, so it must be valid for up to 2 years. Each skill assessment outcome letter is valid to 2 years to 3 years, according to the assessment body. Usually, ANMAC is valid up to 2 years. Okay, so each authority has their own validity for the skill assessment. And according to authority, some applicants need to take English at the time of skill assessment, and some need after skill assessment only. For ANMAT, it's only needed in the EOI stage, not at the stage of skill assessment. We don't need an English scorecard. Only your qualification, employment documents are needed to submit a skill assessment in ANMAC. Okay, next slide. Yeah. So here we will do with the stages of PR. First, as I mentioned, we need to clear the skill assessment. Once we get a positive skill assessment from the assessment body, then we need to load the expression of interest. Okay, that means we need to apply there in a site to load our expression of interest. In that, we will load our uh, outcome letter details, our English points, and everything in that application, expression of interest. Then we need to wait for the invitation to apply. Once we receive an invitation from the state, then we need to apply for a nomination. Then according to the state requirement, each state has their own requirement. So fourth step is nomination approval. Once we got a nomination approval from the state, then we can load the visa application within 60 days. And visa granting also depends on the global processing time. Each visa will grant according to the global processing time. Okay, so there are 5 steps in Australian PR: skill assessment, EOI, invitation to apply, nomination approval, and visa application. These are the 5 stages of Australian PR. Moving on to the next. Yes. As I mentioned, in the EOI, it's a point-based system. So according to your age, qualification, your English eligibility, employment outside Australia, if you have an employment there in Australia, that also contribute a points. According to your partner skills, that also give you the points. Okay, so these are the points required. If you are in 18 or 24 years, you will get 25 points. If you are in between 25 and 32 years, then you will get 30 points for age, and 33 to 39, 25 points, and 40 to 44, it's 15 points. Okay, so minimum 65 is needed to load a skill, the expression of interest. Okay, for English language eligibility, you have the if you have a competent English, you don't get any points, but at least a proficient or a superior score is needed to claim points. Skilled employment outside Australia. If you have work experience outside Australia, if that is more than 3 years, you will get 5 points. If that is more than uh, 5 to 7 years, it will be 10 points. Like that, all the point system based. Okay, if you have a skilled employment in Australia, then at least 1 year of employment, you will get 5 points. More than 3 years, 10 points. More than 5 years, 15 points. More than 8 years, 20 points. As you all have a bachelor's, so 15 points will be added to your qualification points. And if you have studied or completed Australian studies, then that also gives you additional points. Coming to the next slide. Yes. If you are a married woman or married, then the partner can also contribute points to your EOI. If he or she can contribute an English score, only a competent English needed for the partner. They can provide 5 points. If the partner is a skilled partner, then he or she can provide 10 points. And even the state also providing 5 points for 190 and 15 points for 491 along with these points. So for 190 and 491, only the state gives the points. For 189, it's a skilled independent visa. We don't have any extra point from the state. So these are the points required for EOI. Minimum 65 is needed to load and in order to be in that pool of this selection. Moving to the next slide. Yes, cost for the PR. For these are the costs for the visa application. For the main applicant, you will get you have to pay 4,910, approximately 2,75,000 Indian rupees for the primary applicant. And for the partner, you need to pay 2,455 Australian dollar, around 1,38,000 approximately Indian rupees for the partner. And for the children, you need to pay 1,230 Australian dollar. These are the visa fees that you need to pay at the time of visa application. Okay, and for the skill assessment, according to authority, it's vary 500 Australian dollar to 2,000 Australian dollars. And police clearance certificate we need to apply, English test we need to take, and the medical examination. All those things are in the stage of visa application. These are the costs of PR. Uh, these are all deals with the Australian PR. I think you have clear get an idea about the PR application and what all stages involved in this. Okay, if you need any one-on-one consultation, our team are here to help you. Okay, after this session, you can contact our team members. Thank you.
Thank you.
For your informative session. Martina, I think you are mute.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you, Gopika, for your informative session. I think it was an insight for each one of us regarding the PR process and how they can apply and what are the procedures, etc. So let's welcome Mr. Mohanan. He will be doing the like Q&A sessions and the service we provide to our candidates. He will be explaining in detail. So let's welcome him. Yeah.
Hey, thank you, Martina. Thank you, everyone, for attending the webinar today. So, my name is Mohan. I'm attending the webinar from our Dubai office. So, let me explain how do we work and how do we serve our clients. So, initially, let's assume we have an inquiry. So, we get the details from the clients, like the documents like CV or the education documents. Then a consultant will check the eligibility for example, for APRA for registration. And once we confirm the eligibility and once we check all the documents requirements are met, then the consultant will call the inquiry, the client, and they will start detailing how do we work and what are the step-by-step process, what are the costs involved, and they will also answer any of the concerns you have, like let's say for example, is there any red flags which you think might affect your application. All these things will be detailed by the consultants. Then let's assume that you are convinced on whatever details we explained. Then the next process is to sign up a contract, and the team will draft the contracts for you. Before you sign up, they will also detail you the payment part. And once you make the payment, and then we will be sending you a contract for your signature and other related stuffs. Once you sign the contract and once you sign once you make the payment, you will be allotted with a case officer, and she or he will be the contact person till you got your license. Okay, so once the case officer is assigned, the case officer will share you the contact details like the email and the phone number and our office timing. Then we will have another detailed welcome email and again a Zoom call to detail how do we work for example, like how do we work when it comes to an APRA registration for registered nurse. Yeah, so they will be explaining you the detailed checklist and how to prepare the documents and what are the time frame to get the documents, I mean, from your side. And if you need any kind of assistance in terms of preparing your documents, for example, employment draft, we will be assisting you with that as well. So once we have all the documents from your side, we move to the next application stage, which is the self check. Again, once the self check is done, it moves to the orientation part, as explained by my colleague earlier. And once the orientation part is done, we prepare again your documents, and we submit your portfolio accordingly, based on your eligibility for which stream you're applying. Your application move forward. Then once we have the outcome, we apply for the registration as well. Okay, so this is how does it work. And it's too short though. This is how do we work when it comes to registration of a registered nurse to get a license in Australia. For example, if you're looking for a PR, then those who already have a license, we move to the skill assessment stage. Then once the skill assessment is done, the case officer will explain you how does the visa process works. And accordingly, we move forward. I think my colleague already shared you the details about the payment and the documents and the step-by-step process. So inside our office, I mean internally, this is how does it work. There will be a dedicated case officer to clarify each and every concerns of you during the process. And yeah, this is how does it work. I think the office procedure, you people are clear. Let us know if there is anything, and we are happy to assist you anytime. Yeah, thank you everyone, thank you Martina.
Thank you, Mohanan sir. So let's have a Q&A sessions now. So over to you, Reshma.
So, Mohan, we will have an interactive session now. That is, so basically, when a candidate approaches us, they will be having a multiple questions or queries regarding the process. So we have filtered a few questions commonly which is asked by the candidate. So we will be discuss it initially, and after that, the candidates can ask questions to us so that it will be a nice interactive session for clarifying the doubts so that they can start the process quickly. So, Mohan, you can start.
No problem. I'll thank you, Reshma. I'll start with the common questions normally the clients ask us during the process or before or after signing up with us. So initially, the PR related questions, Gobika, I think you can answer the questions. Like, can you explain what are the assessment bodies for a PR? For example, like nurses or engineers or accountants. Would you mind explaining us to?
Yes, for the nurses skill assessment, we need to submit the skill assessment in ANMAC, and for engineers, we need to submit the skill assessment with the Engineers Australia. For accountant, it's with the CPA, and for other general occupations, it's with the VETASIS. Usually, ANMAC is the nursing skill assessment body. So
No
each
problem.
assessment body have their own uh, review time to get the outcome. Usually it takes
That's
8 to 12 weeks to get the outcome, because in between sometimes they will ask for additional documents or additional verification that will delay the process, and it's usual.
no problem. Would you mind explaining like the required documents for a skill assessment, like in general, if you can?
Yes, for the general we need identification document, education documents, and the employment related documents. And sometimes, according to the authority, some assessment body will ask for the English, but for ANMAC it will be asked only after skill assessment. At the skill assessment stage, we don't need to prove the English score. Only in the stage of expression of interest, at the time of EOI, we need to provide the English score. For Engineers Australia, we need to provide English at the time of skill assessment, only a competent English. That's depending upon each authority. Basically, identification document, education, and employment related documents are needed for the skill assessment.
Out of curiosity, just to confirm, the English language test is mandatory for all the skill assessment or only for few?
Only for few, according to the
Understood.
assessment body.
No
If they
problem.
require English at the time of skill assessment, it will be clearly mentioned in the fact sheet of that assessment body that English is required at the time of skill assessment. Otherwise, all English score is required at the time of expression of interest, at the time of lodging the PR application. And even though it's valid only for 2 years, EOA will calculate the English score up to 3 years. So English score is
Fantastic.
valid till 3 years.
So you mean to say the skill assessment is valid for 2 years, or
Yes.
what is the
After
validity for the skill assessment in general?
general 2 years, 2 to 3 years. It's also depending upon each authority. For Engineers Australia, it's valid for 3 years. For ANMAC, it's valid for 2 years only.
Oh, thank you for clarifying, Gopika. Again, one more question is like, can I use the same? Can somebody use the same skill assessment for both 189, 190, and 491? Possible.
Yes, yes, that's also possible. You only require one skill assessment, and we can use that for 189, 190, and 491.
No problem. Like another question, someone was asking, what if the skill assessment comes as negative?
Yes. For that, we can go for a review application. For before that, we need to choose the correct occupation, and the job title and the employment documents all need to be proper. If we fake the application or if we provide any additional information which is not relating to the our assessment body, then the outcome will be negative. So, in the worst scenario, if the occupation or the job title is not aligning, then there will be rejection. But if we are confident, we can appeal that decision with the authority.
No problem. And what all the fees for the skill assessment? Is it same for all, or is different? It's case to case.
Yes, yes. It's different for each authority. That's also depending on the assessment body. For ANMAC, it's only 390 or 400 Australian dollar. But for Engineers Australia, it's more than that. It's depending upon the assessment body and the process involved in that. The assessment fees also change.
And do I need the Australian work experience for a positive assessment?
No, only overseas work experience is needed to load an application. We don't need an Australian work experience. Even offshore applicant can also do the EOI.
That's fantastic. This is basically, thank you for clarifying, Gopika. These are the general questions normally the client asks during the consultation time. Reshma, do you have anything to add from the APRA side?
So there is a doubt from one of our candidates, that is there is any new update regarding the streamline process. So initially they haven't told anything regarding the streamline process when it came into action. What they have told is that only from the six countries, six English speaking countries, candidate can apply for the streamline process. And gradually they have started changing the criterias. So the new update for the streamlined nurses, that is, they should be a registered nurse in the NMC under adult. They can't be a mental health nurse or a child pediatric nurse. Other categories can apply for the streamlined process. And the second update is the candidate must have completed the English code, and within the 1 year they must started working in the English speaking countries. Before that, they haven't mentioned anything. On September update, they have provided the new update. So these are the two updates which has APRA provided for the streamlined candidates. So the updates will be changing maybe within 2 month or 3 month basis. We request the candidate to start the process. If they find they are eligible to do the process, don't waste their time. Start doing the process, because the application can changes, the criteria can changes anytime. So it's better to start the process immediately. That's it.
No problem. Someone have any other questions?
Yeah, there is another question from a candidate. I have a question regarding ANMAX. After skill assessment, how many months it will take to get the invitation? Gopika.
Yes. For after getting the skill assessment, we need to lodge the EOI. It's for 189, we need to wait because yearly twice or thrice there will be an invitation round. But for the states, we need to wait for the state invitations. Maybe in the new financial year, not in every month there will be an invitation round in every state. So we cannot give a time frame. Within this timeline you will get an invitation, but most of the applicants within 1 year they will get an invitation from the state. As you are a registered nurse, then there are higher chances, and it's also depending upon the total points which you have in your EOI. If you have 85, 90, 95 points, within 6 months you will get an invitation. But if the points is within 65, 70, 75, then we need to wait up to 1 year to get a no invitation from the states.
Thank you for clarifying, Gopika. Deshwa, do you have any other questions? Someone was
So
asking, I have 1 year experience in UK in PICU. Can I apply with the new pathway? I think he's asking for the new Streamline B.
exactly. So, like I already mentioned, if his NMC registration is in mental health or in pediatric, then he can't apply for the new streamlined pathway. Other than that, he can apply for the new streamlined pathway with 1 year experience.
Thank you for clarifying. Is there any other questions regarding the APRA registration? Candidates, you can text your questions as well. We can filter and we can explain to you in detail.
So the next question is how many time it will take for the visa process. So if it is for the registration visa, it can take up to 45 to 60 working days for getting the OSCE visa, that is the visit visa for writing the OSCE. And for the other registration process, like the streamlined pathways, the candidate don't need to apply for any visa or anything. You can get the registration through the online application itself. And for PR, it depends. It depends the time frame for getting your invitation. After getting the invitation only, you can apply for the PR visa. And the thing is that there is a standard time frame for each process, but it purely depends upon your profile, your documents, and everything. The standard time frame for PR visa can take up to 2 months, 2 or 3 months, and for the OSCE visit visa can take up to 45 to 60 days.
Thank you, Reshma, for clarifying. Someone is asking, Gurpreet Singh Shran is asking, UK experience needs to pass OET again and the OSCE as well. Can you please explain?
So, if you are a UK experienced candidate and if you are a BSc nurse with minimum 1 year of experience, then you don't have to complete any OSCE or anything. You can directly apply for the streamlined registration process and you will be getting the registration. Uh, but if you haven't taken any English language test when you arrived to the UK, forget and started working over there, then you will have to take the OET exam. Other than that you don't have to take any exams or anything.
Thank you, Reshma, again. Another interesting question from Joshna Jos. She's asking, New Zealand pathways eligible for both GNM and BSc nurses. Can you please elaborate, please, this question? Thank you.
Sure. So, if you are applying the New Zealand pathway through the any of the English-speaking countries, the English-speaking countries are UK, Ireland, USA, Canada, Singapore, and Spain. So these are the six English-speaking countries which they are accepting the application. And if the candidate is applying through New Zealand pathway, of course, the GNM as well as the BSc candidate can apply for the New Zealand through the New Zealand pathway. The only difference is that if you are a GNM nurse, then you can't apply for the PR process, but you can apply for the registration. And if you are a GNM nurse, then you will have to write the theoretical exam and also the OSCE exam for the New Zealand. That's it.
Just to make it simple, GNM registered nurses can utilize this New Zealand pathway, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. From the English speaking countries.
Oh, that's fantastic. I hope your question is clear. Anyone else have any other questions? Because we are time is running up.
Person's experience is less than 2 years with completed registration. The question is for you, Bobika. If recent nurse experience is less than 2 years with completed after registration, will they be getting the PR?
Yes, if you get a 65 minimum 65 for the EOI, then you are eligible to lodge the uh, expression of interest, and there are chances for getting PR in Australia. If the experience is less than 2 years, you need to get more scores with the English, because for English, if you have a superior English, then you will get 20 points in the EOI, so you can compensate the work experience with the English score. So if you have 65 points in total, then you are eligible to get the PR in Australia. You don't get a points for the work experience. You need to complete 3 years to get 5 points from your work experience. Otherwise, all other points, including getting 65, then you are eligible to the PR.
Thank you, Bobika. Thank you. Is there any other questions from the? I think we have covered all the questions, I guess. Rashma, do you have anything to add?
Um, One more question. I have 6 months experience in India as a nurse. Currently not working. Will I able to start the process, or do I need 1 year experience? Um, so this is, I think it is for the domestic process. So if you are a 6 months experienced staff nurse or registered nurse, whatever it is, you can apply for the registration process. The only thing is that during the time of visa, that is when you apply for a visa, at that time you should be a uh, still working candidate, because we are applying for a visit visa, and the immigration from the immigration there will be questions that what commitments the candidate is having to return back to their home country. So it is at the time of visa, you must be working in any of the hospitals at that time. And if you are having 3 months of experience during the time of registration, that is after the OSCE, you will have to get at least minimum 3 months of experience as a registered nurse for applying for the APRA registration. Till OSCE, you don't have to be an experienced staff, but after OSCE, before applying for registration, you must have minimum 3 months of experience within the last 5 years. Okay, that's it.
Thank you, Reshma, for
And
clarifying. Yeah, please
Mm,
continue.
yeah, the question is any recent experience needed for the NCLEX exam. So, if there is no experience or anything is required for the NCLEX exam, and if the candidate has completed the NCLEX exam either for Canada or US, they can transfer the NCLEX exam. If they have completed their NCLEX exam within the last 10 years, then they can transfer their NCLEX result to the APRA. But the thing is that the initial, if they have applied for Canada initially, then that NCLEX result will be cancelled, and it will be valid only for Australia. So experience or anything is not required for doing the NCLEX exam. Only thing is that you should have an authorization to test for writing the exam, and also the confirmation letter from the Pearson view. That's it. Is the information 450 hours is required for NCLEX or an exam. No, we don't need any experience or anything for writing the NCLEX or an exam for Australia. Once you get the portfolio outcome, immediately APRA will be giving the authorization for writing the NCLEX or an exam. So you don't have to be an experienced nurse or anything for writing the NCLEX or an exam. And the attempt for writing the NCLEX or an exam, actually they haven't provided any attempt for writing the NCLEX or an exam. Only thing is that they will be providing an authorization to test or ATT, which is having a validity of 6 months. So within that 6 months, you have to complete the exam, and with one ATT, you can apply for only one exam. So if you are failing in one in the exam, you will have to take another ATT, and you will have to rewrite the exam again. So there is no attempt for NCLEX or an exam, and also for OSCE, they haven't told any limit for writing the OSCE exam. That's it.
No problem. Thank you for detailing again. Is there any other questions from anybody or anything? Kobika, you want to add something?
There is one more
Someone is
question.
asking
70
70
points will get
points.
190. Yes. Yes, you will get 190 visa. Last year also, there are many registered nurses got invitation with the 70 points also from Queensland.
I assume Sarita is a registered nurse.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, can we wind up? Is there anything to add, Reshma? Can you add if there is anything?
And one more question, Gopiga. If the candidate have completed their skill assessment, is it any, will they be getting any, if they are attending an interview and if the candidate is already having a skill assessment outcome, is there any benefit if the candidate is having that outcome with her for getting the job easily or for start working in Australia? Is there any benefit like that?
There is no particular thing for that it's mandatory to get a skill assessment. It's a benefit according to the employer. That's not a mandatory condition to have a skill assessment at the time of employment or for the 482 visa. But in the case of if the employer is willing to sponsor that in future after 3 years, then at that time we need to do the skill assessment. For temporary visa, it's not mandatory to have a skill assessment. Only after registration is required. If he or she want to convert that into a PR, then at that time, then they need a skill assessment.
And many of the candidates are asking whether they will be getting any sponsored PR in the coming years or something, because initially Australia needs used to provide the sponsorship visas, the PR visas. So currently they are not getting, and most of the candidates are confused because whether to start the process or not, because they are hearing that there is no sponsorship visa and like that. So how will you tell the candidates, or how can you convince the candidate regarding this?
That is what we have already discussed, because we don't need to wait for an employer sponsorship, as we have eligible score, and after registration we can do the general skilled migration also. So they can move with the PR there in Australia. So they don't need to wait for an employer sponsorship. So they can work there independently, and they don't need to worry about the visa expiry things. And as they have the PR, they will get a good job there in Australia. So they want the PR candidate, because when we go there with a PR, then there are higher chance for getting jobs. So we don't need to job hunt.
So that's it.
Is there anything from anybody? Any questions, any concerns? Anything regarding the process, anything regarding the PR or licensing? Can we move to the next slide, please? Over to you, Reshma.
So, if we do have branches, we have four branches for 360 Medicare. One is in UK, and the other one is in UAE and in Germany, as well as in India. We have four branches, and hereby we are sharing our contact details. So, if you are having any queries or any clarification is required regarding the process, or even to start the process, you can free feel to contact us. We are here to assist you. And you have seen in the previous slide, we have received n number of outcomes within few span of time. You are already aware that the streamlined pathway has started a few months before, and within 3 to 4 months, we are getting the positive outcomes. So, if you are planning to start the Australian registration, I know most of the nurses are dreaming to start a career in Australia as a registered nurse. So, if you are, don't wait a second to start the process if you are eligible, and we are here to support you even if what qualification, if you are a nurse with a GNM or whatever it is, we are here to help you to make your dream come true. So you can reach us at any time. We will be available to assist you. So that's it.
All right. Thank you so much. Over to you, Martina. I think we are done with the slides. We can, yeah.
Thank you everyone for joining. So let's wind up the session, and our team will be contacting each one of you, and we will be giving a special discount for those who have attended the webinar, and we'll be starting the process this month. And like I have already mentioned, the authorities will be going for a winter break. So if you want to start the process both for UK as well as from Indian candidates who want to start the process, please start the process as soon as possible so that we can assist you. Our expert team members will be guiding you for the throughout the process. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your cooperation, and thank you for attending the webinar. We will be scheduling more webinars in future also. We expect your cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.